We'll talk to somebody else who's not a vampire. This is a conversation I had the other day with a woman who is main eventing on Invicta tonight, the rowdy one, Bec Hyatt. Back here on QAM's Fight Night, Alex Dono with you talking fights. And out of the sports line, we talk to, well, a woman who has a great opportunity in front of her fighting for the Invicta strawweight title. This is our first Australian guest in the history of Fight Night, and it's why I'm so happy to talk to the rowdy one, Bec Hyatt. How are you?
Hey, Alex, I'm good. How are you?
Doing excellent. It's a thrill to have you on the show. This has been a crazy couple of weeks for you now. I was excited for you even getting the chance to fight on this event. I know that signing with Invicta was a big deal for you, and now Carla Esparza loses her opponent, and on short notice you step in. First and foremost, I applaud you for accepting this opportunity when I understand a few other women turned it down.
Thank you. Yeah, it was offered to a few other girls, and they all turned it down, which I think is absolutely crazy. But, yeah, I'm definitely not going to pass up an opportunity like this, so I agreed straight away, and I'm just excited now.
And I recently read something interesting. I think before we get into this, back into this serious conversation, I really have to ask you about this. I saw this tweeted by MMA Junkie a little while ago where you said that your biggest fear would be getting knocked out and inadvertently peeing yourself. Is that correct?
That's what I'm scared of. I've seen guys get knocked out and they pee themselves, so that's probably my biggest fear, that not actually getting knocked out. I just don't want to pee my pants.
I think I share that same fear with you. Oh, man. And for those who haven't seen Rowdy Bec Hyatt, you're an exciting fighter. You're on a 4-fight winning streak. I know that you lost your professional debut, but you haven't looked back ever since. 4-1 now in your career. And you've also, Bec, got a great look. I really dig your look with the tattoos, like the leopard print that you have on your forearm. I really dig all the piercings. I like your personality. Has this just always been you your entire life?
Yeah, I've always been crazy. I got my first tattoo when I was 16, and I've always had silly haircuts and been loud and stupid. So, yeah, I've been like this a long, long time.
Well, hey, I wouldn't ever say being stupid. I think it's a great look that you've got going on. And I also, I respect the fact that, I mean, you talk about your favorite fight being your pro debut when you actually got knocked out. I mean, compare that to 4 victories you've had ever since. I think you're someone who appreciates the learning experience of fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my favorite fight. I learned a lot from it, and I had the time of my life in there, so nothing to be ashamed of there.
Absolutely not. Talking to Bec Hyatt, who's fighting Carla Esparza in the Invicta Fighting Championships main event for the strawweight title. What does it mean for you getting the chance here to bring home some gold?
It means a lot to me, actually. It means a lot I was stoked to be the first Australian to come over when I was fighting Joanne Calderwood, but to have the opportunity to fight for the title and maybe bring home a title to Australia, it means so much. So I'm just really excited to get in there and show them how tough us Aussie girls are.
And this is not only your first time in Kansas City where you will be fighting, but it's also your first time in the United States.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever left Australia.
Oh, my God, wow.
It's been an experience.
So has anybody tried to take you to the Outback Steakhouse yet? Do you know what that is?
No, I haven't heard of it yet.
Really? I feel like we're breaking news here. It doesn't surprise me because I've talked to Australians before, Bec, and they're not really aware of this. We have this restaurant concept here in America. It's extremely popular. You ask any American about the Outback Steakhouse, we all know what it is. It's this restaurant. They've got decent food, but they have an Australian theme. Where the menu items have Australian names, and they make everybody believe that in Australia everyone is eating fried onions, steak, and shrimp on the barbecue, when I don't know if that's really the case.
We do eat fried onions and steak on the barbecue. I'm not sure about shrimp, though.
Yeah, they have this big thing. It's called shrimp on the Barbie. Do you refer to the barbecue as the Barbie?
Yes, we do call it the Barbie. We don't call it shrimp. We call it prawns.
See, yeah, so that's not even accurate. I remember I was speaking to, you've probably heard of the great Michael Chiavello, the voice, who's from your home country. I had this conversation with him before. He recently, I guess, set up his home base. He now lives primarily in Las Vegas, and one of the first things that people did was they took him to the Outback Steakhouse, and he told me it was ridiculous how, they had improper maps of Australia laying around, and he said what you said, that in Australia you call them prawns, not shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. They haven't even done it right.
Well, here's what I want you to do. When you get the victory on Saturday night and they interview you in the center of that cage, the first thing I want you to say is, I'm going to celebrate tonight at the nearest Outback Steakhouse.
All right, I'll do that if I remember.
So how's your time been in the States so far? You've been here a couple of days?
Yeah, I came in on Monday. It's been awesome. It's really cold. It's a bit of a shock to the system coming from, I think it's, 90 degrees in your guys, how you guys say it. But it's really cold, so we're all rugged up in our snow jackets and snow boots. But other than that, it's been awesome. Everyone's so nice, and the service is great.
See, you'd be envious of where I am. I'm in Miami, Florida, where it is 80 degrees for us. I'm not sure what that would be in Celsius, but it's very warm all year round.
Oh, see, that's where we would fit in. This is really cold compared to what we're used to in Kansas City.
What do you feel like, since you've started fighting back, what do you feel like you've improved upon the most?
I think I've improved all around. I think, and I've improved with how I go into a fight. I'm not going into a fight trying my hardest to knock someone out, because it just doesn't work like that. You just go in there and do your thing and just do what you train, and it'll come if it's going to come. So that's probably the biggest thing I've learned.
And in the change now from your original opponent now to fighting Carla Esparza, what are some of the big differences? I know you're probably going to have to use your wrestling a lot more this time around.
Yeah, Joanne Calderwood's a striker with jiu-jitsu, where Carla Esparza is a wrestler with some good jiu-jitsu as well. So it doesn't really change that much. It's just I'll just have to work on my takedown defense a little bit more. And she'll be looking for the takedown, whereas I probably would have been looking for the takedown with Joanne.
As far as signing with Invicta goes, I know that what you had been trying to make this happen ever since Invicta began. Was this a difficult process for you? Was it just a matter of getting more experience and getting their attention?
Yeah, it was just a matter of getting some more wins under my belt and getting their attention pretty much. We worked hard. We annoyed them for a while and until they finally accepted that I wasn't going to go anywhere, and they said, look, just win a few more fights and we'll have you on. So that's what I did. So
this strawweight division, you're making 115 pounds, correct?
Yeah.
Is that an easy weight cut for you?
It has been this time. It's just really worked this well this camp. Our diet's been right on the spot, and actually looking forward to this cut. Normally I'm dreading them and sulking, but I think this one's going to be a good, easy one.
So is that something that you've just had to improve upon? I mean, you mentioned having a great cut this time around. Is there just something you did completely different, or are you just getting better at it every time?
I just think we're getting better at it every time. We've worked out what works for me, and we've really got it spot on this time.
Now, as far as I know that, of course, you're thrilled to be signed with Invicta, no question about that, and they really are the leader in women's MMA right now, no doubt. Of course, something we talk about a lot here on the program is how the UFC is, adding a women's division, but I feel like they're just only sort of doing a test run because they're only bringing over one weight class. It's 135 pounds or bust. That's the only way to get into the UFC right now. Of course, this is a positive step in the right direction, and is it a dream of yours to someday fight in the octagon?
I think it's everyone's dream that fights MMA, to fight on the UFC. I never thought it would happen. I never thought I'd see women fighting in the UFC, but my goal was always get on Invicta, and Invicta are the stomping ground. They're where you want to be if you're a girl in this sport, and they're here for us. They're here to grow our sport. They're not just here to line their pockets. So my loyalty is definitely with Invicta, but if the opportunity came knocking, everyone knows I'm not going to turn down a huge opportunity, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Sure, and a frequent guest here on our show, Bec, is Shannon Knapp, of course, the Invicta president. We're thrilled with the job that she's doing. We're thrilled with the way that she's carried herself, and I'm sure you appreciate the way that she's been treating you so far.
Oh, yeah, they've been amazing. Shannon and Janet have been absolutely awesome. They've answered any questions we've had. They've done everything that we've asked. We've been put up in the nicest hotel I've ever been put up in. We've had lifts to and from wherever we need, and they've really looked after us. And I feel like we belong here, and it feels like a professional sport. And I just think it's great for the sport, and they're just doing everything right.
Absolutely, and I feel like you're certainly doing everything right. So when you step into the cage on Saturday against Carla Esparza. It's a matchup where, Bec, I'm sure a lot of people will be counting you out because you're a late replacement. She's more experienced than you are, but the opportunity that you have to shock the world and especially to bring that belt home for the Australian fans is one that I'm so excited to see you get. I will be rooting for you without question on Saturday when you have that fight. Do you have any sort of prediction for the way the fight is going to play out and the way that you're going to win it?
I don't know how it's going to go. Anything can happen. All I say is don't blink because you might miss it.
I like that. So I'm going to read between the lines, and I'm going to say that you're going to knock her out. I said it, not you. It's okay.
I'd like a knockout highlight reel, actually, so that would be sweet.
And will you make her pee her pants?
I hope not. I wouldn't want to do that to anyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That would probably be the most embarrassing thing on the planet. You mentioned that you've seen that happen to some men before. Do you remember who they were?
I do, but I don't think I should name him. That's a little embarrassing.
Well, what if I guess? I don't know if I'll ever guess, because are you talking about like regional Australian fighters?
Yeah, local
okay.
Australian show.
So I would probably never guess in that case. How do you like? How's the fight scene been in Australia? Because as an outsider looking in, of course, I see the UFC putting on some events there. I know Hector Lombard personally, who does a lot of his training down here in South Florida, but he also lives part-time in Australia. He loves fighting over there. I know the fight scene is growing, but what's the training scene like over there?
The training scene is really quite scattered. There's good gyms here and there, but not so many, like nowhere near as good as the States. But it's getting better. It's slowly getting there. Especially like the men's MMA is really big, but the women's MMA isn't very big. Like I'm one of 2 girls at our gym, so there's not very many of us getting into it, but it'll get there eventually.
And I remember reading that your husband is also an MMA fighter.
Yeah, he also fights as well.
So I just imagine that your family, I know you have a couple of children as well, this must be one of the ultimate fight families in the world. Everyone's into this.
Yeah, I reckon they'll grow up and follow their mummy and daddy's footsteps. They'd be crazy not to, I reckon.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, listen, I missed the boat on this. It's already too late for me to fight. I wasted too much of my time. I thought doing karate and learning dances when I was a kid, when I could have been doing something like jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai or wrestling more. I think the first thing that I'm going to do when I have children, I'm probably going to put them in jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking the first thing I'm going to get the kids to do is probably judo or jiu-jitsu.
I love it. We'll be rooting for you. I think now South Florida will be rooting for you. Great story. Bec Hyatt taking this title fight on short notice. It is Invicta. It is this Saturday night. Watch it on online pay-per-view. Go to invictafc.com for all of the information. I think it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. local time there in Kansas City. It's really good stuff that Invicta has been doing. I support women's MMA 100%, and now I support Bec Hyatt 100%. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time there from the Rowdy One Bec Hyatt.